Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm here in Seletar Aerospace and I have a new guest, MK, and he's Cannondale CAAD 10. CAAD 12, 2018, and this is an aluminium frame, right? The first aluminium frame on my channel. Actually, I'm very lucky and thankful that you messaged me and you wanted to film your bike. So MK, thanks for coming, and over to you.
Thanks for having me. My name is MK, but I think this is the second aluminium frame because the first one was the
the specialized alley.
Yes,
oh, no.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think I kepo just made some comment, and end up I also have a chance to to be here. So yeah, this is in fact my second Cannondale. The first one was CAAD 8. That was back in 2012. So I used the CAAD 8 for about 6 years, and yeah, it was due for upgrade. So in 2018, I upgraded to CAAD 12, which is the latest model at that time. So originally this is CAAD 12 Ultegra, so mechanical group set. So in fact the brake is the only group set component they still retain. I basically upgraded the group set to SRAM Force eTap. I did the upgrade myself. It was quite fun. So basically, maybe I'll start with the group set. So this is actually the SRAM Force. The front is actually 4835, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 4835. It's actually our super compact because all the SRAM group set are like that. And the rear is actually 1128 12 speed, so it's a 2x12 electronic shifter. So in fact, I'm very happy with the shifter because yeah, I already stopped doing regular tuning for a long time ever since I upgraded to the electronic group set. So it was actually running pretty smoothly. I did spend a bit of time to source for the bottom bracket adapter because SRAM is using DUP spec. So this is a DUP to BB30 bearings. It took me a while to hunt down the bearings, but when all the components in, it was pretty easy to fit, and I happily pull away the shifting cable. So right now, only 2 cables left in front. So the front brake and rear brake cable. Yeah, I also have a power meter. So it's a China SRAM power meter. It's actually just, I think, less than half the price of those branded power meter, and it works pretty fine. Okay. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. In fact, I have three of these. I have 3 bikes, so all my bike is having this SRAM power meter, spider type, because all my bike are using SRAM cassette right now. So the other component that I've changed, basically the stem is also replaced. So originally Cannondale is actually a C2, also aluminium stem. That one was 90 millimeter. So this one I changed it to 110. It's actually from Chain Reaction. So their in-house brand Prime, which is pretty value for money. The handlebar is also Prime aluminium handlebar, 38 mm, because my shoulder is actually not that broad. So originally I had the carbon version of the handlebar, 42 mm. That was actually feel fatigue quite quickly. So yeah, later on I sold that one and changed to a 38 aluminium. So aluminium handlebar, aluminium stem, and the seat post is actually also a Cannondale seat post. Original one is not the safe version. Safe is actually their special design that flex on impact. So this is actually the safe version that actually will flex a bit when. So overall, I don't. Even though aluminium frame is known for stiffness, right? But after I changed to tubeless. Change to this safe flexing seat post, is pretty okay. I mean I can ride this bike for, let's say, round. In fact, I rode this for 200 kilometers round island before, so pretty okay actually. Surprisingly, which is why I still wanted to retain the aluminium frame. It is, it's rare. And secondly, I think it performs as good as some entry-level, carbon frame. Yeah, originally the wheel was Mavic aluminum wheel. When I bought the bike, the time I immediately already replaced to a 38mm Mavic Carbon Pro. I used the Mavic carbon rim for a few years until early 2020. So I chanced upon Winspace. So at that time, Winspace just started launching worldwide, and they run some promotion. So I just, some YouTuber give pretty good review overseas. So I think I'm one of the first batch in Singapore that try out the Hyperview. So this is the 38mm rim brake Hyperview. No regret. In fact, it is actually stiffer, lighter than the Mavic Carbon Pro. So immediately can feel the difference once I actually changed from the Mavic Carbon Pro to this one. I'm 169. My inseam is 77. So this is actually size 48 or extra small. By measurement, I can go one size bigger, but since my Cateye, at that time the Can Asia already advised me to go one size smaller so that I can actually play around with the component. So I stick to that formula from my Cateye to Cat 12. Same for the other two bikes. So I have two other bikes. I also both are using the same formula. One size smaller and just adjust the component. Yeah, I bought this from Can Asia. At that time, Can Asia still the exclusive dealer. Only last year they changed to a Hablong, right?
Yeah. So how much is the entire bill now?
Wow. Hopefully my wife don't watch this.
Okay, maybe I should say, how much do you tell your wife?
Well, actually, I tell him the truth, but not all the truth. So the bike was actually retailed at just slightly above 2,000. I think it was 2003. But when because Cateye, I also bought for Can Asia, so I got a pretty good trade-in. So I think after that I only pay 1,000 plus, like 1,500 for this bike. But okay, so I just fast forward all the other in between upgrade lah. So this wheel is about 1.3K, 1350, which is introductory price. This guy is actually the most expensive component. So the entire SRAM Groupset is about 2.6K. Yeah, I think those are the main cost component. The aluminium handlebar and the aluminium stem is pretty cheap, like all less than 100.
So would you say this is below 5,000?
Yes.
Below 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a reason why you're using mountain bike seats?
So in fact, when I decided to go for from flat pedal to to a clip pedal, I looking for something that I can have double-sided clip in. So only SPD is able to allow double-sided, because I just scared of let's say I always need to look for the clip side. So I have been starting using the SPD since maybe 2014. So already many years. So I'm already quite used to it. And there are quite a number of good SPD pedal that spin well and easy to use, easy maintenance. Yeah, and I can walk relatively easily with this kind of shoe.
Okay, but do you feel there is a loss of power because the mountain bike shoes are not as stiff as compared to a road?
So in fact, I think at least in my current power, I don't really feel there is an impact. So in fact, I can actually run this bike. I think the limitation is still my leg power, not because of the loss of power transfer and things like that.
What is the weight of the bike?
I have not measured, but I think it's about maybe 8 kilo plus. Okay. Yeah, I have not really measured myself.
Do you go to a carbon frame?
I do have a carbon frame because I do have a giant Propel, the Propel SL. That means the higher grade version. So and then I also have a gravel bike, also carbon frame. So, but this is still a unique animal that I would like to keep.
So which is your daily rider since you have 3 bikes, right?
Actually, it depends. Like if weather is good weather, dry. this is actually my first choice. I like because it is not very aero, but the acceleration and the climbing is pretty good. So very good climbing bike. But if the weather is wet, the road is wet, I either use the gravel bike or the Propel, because both are disc brake.
So having used this and rim, which is your preference if you were to choose one?
Well, I would still choose disc brake actually. I mean, I not really worry about maintenance, because let's face it, the amount of time you need to spend to, let's say, clean the brake dust, clean the brake pad, for disc brake, you don't really need to bleed the hydraulic that often. Like, you only need to bleed it like few years once. But other than that, you just need to, let's say, wipe clean the disc. So to me, the maintenance of the disc brake is a lot easier than rim brake. But I know a lot of people have different opinion. Yeah. But I have 2 disc brake and 1 rim brake. But yeah, I clean my bike every time I finish the ride. So I still realize that I spend less time cleaning the other disc brake bike than this one.
Why SRAM, not Shimano?
Wow, at that time, the Di2 is very difficult to DIY. I mean, you have to install the battery inside the seat post, and there's still quite a lot of wire running for the Di2. But SRAM is really easy because it's wireless. So I can really easily do the DIY in the entire installation myself. This bike, let's say on the TMCR or the West Coast Highway viaduct, I can actually maintain at about 40 kilometers per hour on this bike. Climb, yeah, I mean, I'm actually not light lah. So climb is about 25 kilometers per hour on this the Mandai slope. So. But then for the Propel, I think the pickup is actually slower. But once I retain speed, Propel can actually hit let's say a cruising speed higher. So like Propel, I can actually maybe add another 2 or 3 kilometers on my cruising speed compared to this one. Climbing wise, this guy definitely climb better. Oh yeah, usually I also mount a camera in front. So previously I was using a GoPro 7 Black. I just recently changed to Insta 360 X2. Yeah, basically it's not really for YouTube, but more for safety, because it's just like a car cam. So with the camera, anything happen, at least I have evidence of footage. Why I choose why I upgrade to Insta 360, because the one can give me 360 view. So if any vehicle come in by the side or whichever way, the Insta actually can have their good visibility. The GoPro is only front view.
This Garmin Varia, it's a proximity sensor, is it? Yeah,
it's actually a radar. Actually, it's actually a radar that. So when their car approaching, the dash computer will show the car is approaching, which is actually pretty good for Singapore road, because if I need to filter, from left to the right, the first indication is actually if there are no dots, no car coming, then I can start to turn my head and give hand signal. But filtering always give hand signal. Yeah. So I think as advice for road user, we should share the road and we should be predictable. Yeah. So yeah, I always give hand signal whenever I filter left or right. But yeah, it's actually give me an extra buffer of time, because when I see no car approaching, then I try to filter. When there's car approaching, then I need to decide, actually I slow down, let the car pass, or I change my route.
Can I ask, how long have you been cycling?
So the serious cycling was 2012. So about 9 years. But before that, I was cycling foldable bike. So yeah, I think when I changed to Cat 8 was the real serious cycling started. There's only so fast you can cycle on the foldable. Yeah, I know that the modern foldable is a lot better, but to get 30-35 kilometers per hour on foldable, I think you need to pay 2 times or 3 times the price of this guy to get that kind of performance. And still, there is always a ceiling, a limit. I'm not really, I don't really just speed for the sake of speeding, but I feel the flexibility of riding a road bike.
I want to mention also, just now you mentioned something about being predictable. I think that every road cyclist who just started cycling, they need to understand how to be predictable. Being predictable means when you're riding, you can't just suddenly swerve left and right, and cars don't know what your intention is. Keep a straight line. If you want to, like what you mentioned, filter, look behind first to see if there's any cars. Don't just turn and then look behind and give hand signal. So very important. Okay, we will move on to the Instagram Q&A. If you guys have any questions, you want to submit your questions, follow me on Instagram and you'll get a chance. Okay, are you ready? So the first question, how is the ride feel as compared to carbon or steel?
Wow, there is actually not only because of the frame. So I think the entire ride feel also got to do with the component choice that go with the frame. So in fact, before this aluminium handlebar, I was using carbon handlebar. So yeah, of course, you can see that it is more compliance on the front with a carbon handlebar. But for the rest, because as I said, I already used tubeless, and the seat post is actually designed to flex. So in fact, I more feel like the power transfer is immediate because of the stiffness. But then as far as the bump and the vibration is concerned, the only vibration that I can feel is actually through the pedal, but not really through the seat, because I think the seat, because of the design of the bike, is already more or less taken care of those harsh vibration. But yeah, for the crank and pedal, no choice. You will feel that the vibration will still come in through the pedal.
Why do you not have a front fender, and why do you have a rear mudguard?
Very observant. So in fact, I try not to have any fenders, but I also hate to have let's say my backside very dirty. But on the front, it doesn't really bother me because the down tube actually block the immediate splash. But the rear, there's nothing blocking. So in fact, this one I find it quite matching because I can actually just hook it, and it's almost look like the part of the bike. But for the front, I can't find anything that blend well with the bike. But yeah, the front splashing doesn't really bother me.
Why did you get a Chinese power meter instead of a Quark?
Well, when I started with getting serious to measure my performance and monitor, I'm not sure whether if I really will continue the long way. So I try something economical first. But once I try out the SKD, in terms of the accuracy, the stability, I find it pretty value for money, which is why I just continue to use it for my second and third bike. I paid 300 plus for this.
And
so
how can people buy it?
They can find this in Lazada or Shopee.
How does the Winspace 38 compare to deeper wheels, if you have tried any deeper wheels?
Also good question. So yeah, I do have on my Giant Propel, I'm using a 58mm Hyper. So the difference is this guy spin up very quickly. Because 38mm is spin up very quickly. So for climbing, this is pretty good. But for, let's say, cruising at high speed, I need to actually exert more power to sustain the speed. But for 50mm, yeah, the cruising, basically the wind, the wheel would just help you to spin itself. So I think that is the biggest difference.
So acceleration is the advantage of a shallower range. Actually, I also have deep wheels, NV56, and I find the acceleration really hard, but maintaining high speed is okay. So how about maintaining top speed on these kind of wheels?
As I said, maintaining let's say high speed on a shallow wheel is harder than a deep section wheel. I have the 50mm Hyper on my Propel. The original Propel also come with their SLR 165 and 45. So 65 at the back and 45 in front. So that wheel even more exaggerated because it takes even longer time to spin up. But once it actually hit the maximum speed, it even takes lesser effort to maintain the speed. So in terms of let's say maintaining speed, 65 is actually the easiest once you spin up, followed by 50, followed by 38.
I see the gear ratio doesn't the gear ratio seem too wide? Is this meant to be a climbing oriented bike?
No, in fact, for the SRAM, the one that is for climbing oriented is actually 1133, if I'm not wrong, which is the other wheel set. So this 1128, in terms of the range, is actually very. In fact, it has a wider range than a normal subcompact 52 and 1128 Shimano. because I can't remember the formula, but it just multiply, you know, the ratio multiply together. It has actually wider range than the equivalent Shimano subcompact.
What made you buy a Cannondale?
At that time, my first was Cat 8. I can't remember why I buy Cannondale at the first place. Well, I have some colleagues, so I work in MNC, so I have some European, some American and some Taiwanese colleagues. All of them have encountered Cannondale one way or another. You know, one lady even said, yeah, my Cannondale was so good that it got stolen. So okay, maybe that actually made me give it a try, the Cat 8. But once I actually started using Cat 8, I actually liked the feel of the bike, and I actually also did quite a lot of modification throughout the 6 years of my ownership of the Cat 8. So yeah, when it comes to upgrade, yeah, it's quite natural that I consider Cannondale as my first choice. And Can Asia give me a good trade-in, so I think that basically a no-brainer.
But Cannondale doesn't seem to be very popular in Singapore. Would you recommend a Cannondale, or for this price, what other bikes that I can get which is equivalent?
Actually, for let's say serious cyclists, the carbon frame version of the Cannondale is actually quite popular, like Super 6, System 6. Those are actually quite popular for serious cycling. Of course, in the recent 2-3 years, the like Specialized, those become even more popular, Canyon, but those people of my age, which is like one generation older than you guys, they are actually quite familiar with Cannondale.
Can you tell us more about the bottom bracket? Before we started recording, you were telling me about this was a BB30. The question is, any creaking issues? If yes, how did you fix them?
The thing about BB30 is if it's not broken, don't touch it, because usually when it's fresh from the factory, if it's sealed well, there's no seepage of water. It would just keep on going. It just keep on going without any problem. So my Cat 8, I had never touched the bottom bracket before. Throughout the 6 years, no sound, nothing. So for this one, it's also the same. Before I upgraded, it's actually okay, but I was watching YouTube. There are some people say, yeah, you know, the bottom bracket, you have to service it once in a while. The moment I start open up and clean and put back, the creakings come, and yeah. So I actually tahan that creaking sound for a while until I decided to upgrade. So this is actually the SRAM dub to BB30 bottom bracket. So the bearing is actually outside. So it's actually slightly different than the original BB30. BB30, the bearing is actually inside the bottom bracket. So so far, touch wood, no problem with this SRAM dub bearing.
Okay, I think last two questions. That cockpit is just something else.
I don't really get the question. Okay, yeah, so it is Aero handlebar. I just like the look of it, and I actually before that it was the normal round tube handlebar. So the Bartape is actually taped all the way. But when I start using then I try out the carbon Aero bar, and I bought the Aero version of the carbon handlebar, and I kind of like the look of halfway Bartape. So so that one was too wide, 42 cm. So when I changed to the correct size, at that time I can't get the correct size for the carbon. Otherwise I would have got the 38 mm carbon handlebar, but I couldn't get, so I just bought the aluminium version. But I just like the look. It's not for Aero. I mean, the whole bike is not Aero, so it won't help by having an Aero handlebar. It's less than 100. You can find from the chain reaction. Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Have you been watching my videos?
Yes.
Do you know what's my last question I normally ask my guests? So the question is, are you subscribed to my channel?
Yes, I subscribe.
Thanks MK, I think that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video with MK. Nice bike, Cannondale, aluminium frame. I hope to get more budget builds. Thanks again, and we will film the rest of the bike, and I'll see all of you guys next week. Thanks MK.